Conservative radio host and semi-sentient potato Mark Levin says Republicans should impeach Joe Biden immediately.
The dumbest man to ever serve in the Senate, the dumbest man to ever be vice president, is now the dumbest man to ever be president. He's got a massive ego. He's a narcissist. He wants to go down in history as the greatest president. He's going to go down in history as the greatest disaster. He's doing more to weaken this country than the communist Chinese could ever pray to do. He could ever pray to do. And moreover, he's just defied a federal statute, a Supreme Court decision. He knows that the CDC doesn't have the power to extend these moratoriums on rent. He says we're going to do it anyway because he listens to this Harvard emeritus professor, Lawrence Tribe. He's just violated the federal Constitution. Now, let me say this. I brought this up on my radio show last week. Republicans, have you ever heard of the word impeachment? Are you guys going to go down to the border and whine yourselves to death? I know you're not in the majority, but you need to start explaining to the American people. This man just violated a Supreme Court decision. This man is the border wide open in violation of our immigration laws. I mean, you impeach Donald Trump when he's out of office because of a letter. You set up a phony incitement insurrection. This man is doing enormous damage to this country.
Look, I can't even get mad listening to this guy. It's both entertaining and hilarious because of how utterly wrong he is. There's so much projection. Again, the dumbest man to have ever taken office. He's so stupid. What a narcissist. He's going to go down as the worst president ever. For a minute there, I thought you were like talking about Donald Trump. Projection, everybody. It's projection. And by the way, speaking of projection, this guy screams narcissist at Joe Biden while literally being surrounded by his own promotional materials, which is funny. But come on, man. Come on. To be fair, to an extent, almost everybody in politics or on TV is somewhat of a narcissist. You know, there's people that really love to listen to the sound of their own voice. For me, I hate mine, but whatever. But it's a ridiculous point. Like, okay, man, dude. All right. That said, let's get to the meat. All right, to go with this potato. We're gonna impeach Joe Biden. What are we gonna impeach him for? Like, you gotta have a reason, right? Well, he mentions a couple of things. Well, for one, having the CDC eviction moratorium, right? So now this is happening at a time when COVID cases are spiking in several hotspots across the country, and hospitals are filling up with the unvaccinated, and where you had relief money that was set up to make sure that people could be able to pay their back rent that has barely been released to the public. Just over $3 million out of the 25 first tranche of aid, out of the $47 billion total for rent relief, have been released. Come on. Almost nobody's gotten that relief money. Of course you need the moratorium. It seems really dumb, especially as, again, hospitals are filling up with the unvaccinated as well. But what about the border? The border. Okay, well, let me tell you this. Joe Biden has literally been fast-tracking deportations. This is according to Politico. The Biden administration has continued to use the public health order known as Title 42, which was invoked by former President Donald Trump at the start of the pandemic to expel migrants without allowing them to seek asylum. Biden has declined to use Title 42 to deport minors crossing into the U.S., but of course is going after everyone else. The administration was expected to start phasing it out in the summer, beginning with allowing migrant families to seek asylum, but as the U.S. enters the next uncertain phase of the pandemic and returns to mitigation measures such as masks, the administration has delayed lifting the restrictions. Now, look, a lot of progressives, Democrats, we're not happy with Biden for extending that Trump order, okay? We're not happy about the deportations. We want the deportations to stop. The groups say that there is a way to mitigate risk from people coming into the country, undocumented migrants, who could have COVID. And that is, of course, making sure you test and isolate them to prevent the spread of the virus. That is a much more humane policy than just expediting and sending people back. Okay? But understand, with Republicans, it's about the inhumanity of certain groups. People who are not born in America. Their cruelty is the point. And unironically, or I should say ironically, Levin is complaining that Biden is not using the Trump era policy enough, even though he is expediting the process. That's ridiculous. Guys, they live in a different reality. They really do. Mark Levin, understand, Mark Levin is not a serious person. Impeachment for what? Impeachment for what? Besides, super long shot, not even in the realm of consideration, but say somehow you're able to, because impeachment is such a goddamn high bar. I shouldn't even be entertaining this nonsense. And even Mark Levin's like, yeah, it's never going to happen. But you should do it anyway. Yeah, to make a political spectacle. All right, whatever. But hey, you want President Harris? That's how you get President Kamala Harris. And I'm sure, by the way, that she would be absolutely thrilled. But it's ridiculous. No, this is to make a political point and to try to get revenge for what they did to Donald Trump and kissing Trump's ass. Because Levin, understand that Levin is not a real person. He's a character. He's a character. He's not a real person. He's a Rush Limbaugh clone, essentially. Understand that this is just this is conservative talk radio. This is what it is. Doing unhinged screeds at a shrinking audience of diehard chuds who only thrive off rage bait. No reality at all. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.